It was a couple of years ago, and I decided one day I wanted to form a jazz group. And of course, at first it can seem like a very daunting task and having to find the musicians. And I met with a guy called Steve Long, who is the manager of, or owner of, the record label I'm with now. And we were talking about various projects and various ideas, and I mentioned this idea to him. And he said, well, why don't you do something more swing related? And we started thinking about it. I enlisted the help of a great London piano player called Neil Thornton, very good arranger also. And the project just started from there. He got together a lot of musicians that he knew. It was very tricky to find musicians that could play swing very sympathetically. Mainly the drummer was very tricky to find, and we found a very awesome drummer. And so we kind of formed the group. The last edition was the vibes player, which I thought was a very important part. A lot of the early swing, especially Benny Goodman and Lionel Hampton, a lot of the tunes had very close intertwining clarinet and vibes parts. It is somewhat, some people would say it's a very dangerous thing to do. I like the chance. I like the kind of uncertainty. You don't know how it's going to turn out. A lot of people say the classical music world will disown you completely if you do jazz, and the jazz world won't take you seriously, so you're stuck in the middle. But I think if you do it properly and carefully, there's no reason why you can't do both. I think the only reason you wouldn't end up with classical work is if you focus more on the jazz. So I always spend, of course, most of my work is always going to be in classical music. That's a given, and I want it to stay that way. But it's something I've always loved and always wanted to do. And, you know, if you really want to do something, why not do it? And so we had our first concert on the 10th of December, which went really well. It was the first time the band had all played together, the whole set of tunes. And we had a whole narration to go alongside it, which we did between the tunes, telling the life and times of Benny Goodman. And so it was rather daunting task, almost. The hardest part for me was doing the talking. The playing was fine, I didn't mind that, but making sure me and the pianist got our talking right and told the right dates and the right stories was, that was harder than the playing. But the response was great, and now we have a few big gigs lined up for this year. The biggest one is in the Concertgebouw in Amsterdam. So following in the footsteps of some great, very great jazz players, and I definitely have my work cut out for me, but I enjoy that, you know.